Not much. What are you guys investigating? Huh?
He had a car. He was riding in the neighborhood all around. Started over at Office Max, and they called about him being drunk and driving around the neighborhood. So he ended up over here. We finally found him over here, and he ended up here. And you see, he didn't park real well, and then ended up going to the Sky Bar trying to get more liquor, but they wouldn't serve him. So anyway.
So are we going to criminalize him or treat him for alcoholism?
Well, you're going to jail for DUI.
We're not taking care of the root issue.
He's not taking care of the
root
issue.
And Josh, well,
the individual responsibility now.
Well, it's not about placing responsibility. The guy might be so, his judgment might be so impaired by his disease that he actually can't tell the difference between right and wrong. So if that's the case, then we don't put responsibility, we help the guy out.
And there's a merit to that. Right? I'm not a social worker. Crime was committed. I do my job. So I'm not a social worker. Not what I get paid for. Crime was committed. The individual was driving on the roads in Tucson.
So we're going to criminalize addiction.
Yeah, we do it with drugs. We do it with prescription drugs. And, yep, you're out in the public doing dumb stuff.
Well, tell me, what about the 20% increase? What about the contract between CCA and the federal government, where the federal government has guaranteed them 20% more inmates each year over the next 20 years?
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. He put every driver on the road lives in jeopardy by driving his vehicle today. If that been my family, your family, and he hit them drunk, and they were injured or killed, how would you feel about that?
That sounds like an opening question to a good intervention.
Maybe, but I'm not a social worker.
Right, but this is a situation where if nobody was harmed but him, then this is a situation where if there's no victim...
There is a victim.
Who?
He is number one of his own doing.
Well, yeah. Well, are you going to put someone in jail for being... So are you going to put someone in jail and charge them with murder for trying to commit suicide? Or are you going to try to offer them help? Because, you know, we're all in the city of Tucson, our law enforcement budget is already $500,000 above what we can pay for. The biggest reason is criminalizing poverty and addiction. But it's like you arrest someone it's like someone ends up being arrested because they have an addiction. And they can't get housing, they can't get a job, they can't get success in their life after they've been criminalized because of their addiction that you guys choose to criminalize. I mean, all you got to do is be on the police force. You got to have at least 5 years experience, and you got to have leadership role. So can you tell me why you guys moved that hubcap 5 different times and took pictures of it in 5 different places?
I have no idea what you did.
And tell me how in court that's not tampering with evidence.
Well, the first thing is the hubcap is not evidence. It was lost when he hit a curb, and she photographed it in the location where it was found, and so
Well, she took a picture with more than that. Will.
I don't know which.
And if you find something on the side of the road, right, which is usually capitalizing on other people's mistakes and profiting off of mental health and addiction and criminalizing the population so that you can give yourself a better life.
Well, I don't know who benefited from that.
but it's like you say social services isn't your area. Well, justice is, and not giving justice to someone suffering from mental health issues is an issue.
I'll give you merit part of that. There is some we do. I mean, we are just sort of protect. So I guess in some ways we do become a social aspect. We help people socially. I guess there's some merit to that. Law enforcement of laws is our main function. But yeah, there's probably merit to some of that. We wear all kinds of hats in this job.
And how hard is it to get a job once you get a felony?
Felony?
Yeah.
Well, probably not easy. I don't know if I've had a felony. I don't know.
And so if you're criminalized for your addiction and you are made to pay fines, but a felony keeps you from getting a job, what happens to you? You end up violated because you didn't pay your fines. You end up violated because you didn't have a house to live in, and so you were living in a place without permission of the probation office. Is you can't get into any public housing because you have that kind of thing on your record. You can't get food stamps because you have that type of thing on your record. So then what happens? We know that it's like you end up on the streets and you end up homeless. And how's impoverishing people helping law enforcement?
There is merit to that argument. That's what you're saying.
Right, but you're an officer on this street. You are the first line that gets to make it to judge whether someone committed a crime and what action should be taken.
What the city of Tucson taxpayers pay me for.
Right. So if
obligation to them and society as a whole to enforce the law.
Right, but what's cheaper addiction? What's cheaper, treatment or criminalization? What's cheaper, a house key or a handcuff? We can criminalize the homeless all day, but it takes $45,000 or more to put them through the court system, but it takes $12,000 to put them in a home.
Here's the problem. Take a repeat. The vast majority of people I deal with have numerous arrests and contact with police. So you tell me who's holding them responsible. Somebody has to.
Well,
I'm not into giveaway programs. You either earn it or you don't. If you can't earn it, do the right thing. You know, and that's one of the problems I have is the jails and our prisons are full of people who've been there before, not their first rodeo.
So
there is some merit to what you're saying.
So nice how do you define insanity? How do you define insanity? Is that not doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the different result? How many times will we send someone to prison on a felony just for them to get out and have no other choice but to go and commit crime in order to survive?
Hey, I don't disagree with you. There is that. Hey, your observations are not totally wrong.
Well, can you tell me 5 employers that will hire someone who has a felony?
I don't have an answer for you. Oh, a little while. It's all good. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here in a few minutes. No, your observations are not without merit. It's just how you. I don't know. I'm not a smart enough guy to know what the system would be, what the answer to your questions are. I don't know.
Well, it's like the whole thing is you say social working's not your job. The social worker says it's not their responsibility to go make contact people on the street. It's their job to come to them. So if someone's not
I don't know. There are a number of social people out there that I know that do come out to the streets. I know the VA does a good job of coming out and administering the needs of the veterans who are on the street. I know that for a fact. I know some of the guys who work at the VA. So I know the veterans, there's an effort out there.
So what about the disabled?
I'm assuming there probably is for that too. there are efforts out there. To your credit, you're right. Is there enough?
Because it's like I'm disabled, and all the people that are supposed to be helping the disabled are too busy looking for vets. So rather than talking to me who's disabled, they're going to people who aren't. They're skipping over me to try to find a vet. You know why? There's money in vets. They can poverty pimp the vets more than they can poverty pimp me.
You answer for everything, don't you?
Well, tell me this.
Oh my God.
If law enforcement, if the federal government, the states, along with 6 corporations, didn't make more than $20 billion a year off of criminalizing people for non-dangerous, non-violent crimes where there's no victim.
Hold on a second. Listen. You're gonna run that thing, put me on camera, then let me do it.
You're on camera.
Okay, I know. So let me talk. If you want to listen to yourself talk on camera, go home and do it. But out here, you're filming me, let me talk.
So you're saying I don't have the right to talk? Because a discussion, a conversation goes 2 ways.
Yeah, well, you won't be quiet so I can talk, and I'm old, I just forgot my thought anyway, so...
Well, you know, if you didn't interrupt me and you gave me a chance to speak, then...
Here's the bottom line, okay? This society is not perfect. There are some issues. But my question to you is, why are you talking to a lonely beat cop, street to Tucson, with your ideas and thoughts, which may have some merit in your argument?
Because the mayor had me arrested for doing it.
Okay, well, I would...
I'm not allowed within 1,000 feet of City Hall.
I know.
I'm not allowed within 500 feet of any city property. I'm not allowed within 200 feet of any city employee.
I forgot about
You know what I mean?
I forgot about that.
That's why I got to be out here. I started by talking to you guys.
I know.
And you guys sent me to City Hall. City Hall had me arrested because they don't like what I had to say.
Well, as you know, historically speaking, a lot of folks don't like to hear the truth sometimes. It makes it very uncomfortable.
Well, it's like
according to get people thinking. Here's the deal. Do I agree with all you say? No. But do I believe that some of what you say has merit? Absolutely. Maybe your approach is a little bit, what should I say, different. But I think there is some merit to part of what you say. I don't totally disagree with you, but I'm not the guy who has the answers. I don't know. I wish I did. I wish you and I could magically transform our society and help everybody who needed help for everything. I wish we could do that. I wish I had the ability to do that. I don't. I come out here every day and try to do the best I can, do what I can for the city of Tucson and people of Tucson, those who pay my salary. I try to do it safely. I try and treat people with integrity, treat them with respect, and do the right thing. But I am going to enforce the law. That's what I do. But I agree with you that there are a lot of problems with our society that need to be addressed and that need help. I don't have the answer. I wish I did, you know. And you ask some valid questions. You bring up some valid points that kind of make you go, and that's good. You make people think, which sometimes bothers people. I'm not used to that. It makes them nervous. You know what I mean? So,
well, it's like I could say the same thing about your badge and your uniform and your car.
Yeah,
but it's like, the thing is, if you want to change a neighborhood, you can't change the world until you change your neighborhood.
Correct.
So the thing is, if I'm trying to change this neighborhood, then I got to start with the people in this neighborhood, and you just happen to drive and roam through it.
I do. I don't live here, but I drive and roam through it.
But it's like, what does it tell you when you got 4th Avenue right here and you got all these bars? Now, part of the reason we tax alcohol is to provide money for alcohol treatment. Kind of like we tax, part of the reason we tax gambling is to pay for addiction with that. You know, we'll let people have fun, and it's just we ask everybody to put a little bit in the bucket so that we could help those that need it. Now, where on this avenue do you see a AA meeting?
I know of. Do you know of any avenue?
I do not.
The only only place I know of they have AA meetings is down on South 6th. And I'm assuming it's an AA place. I don't know that for sure. I think generally those AA guys keep it kind of quiet where they meet at. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's like, why do you think they keep it quiet?
Maybe the embarrassment of it. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer. I don't know.
Same reason why Rosa is hiding in a church. What do you think about that? We're the freest nation in the country, but we say we're the freest country in the world, but we have the most people locked up. We even got a 45 woman in her 40s that's Hispanic living in a church because she's afraid of what our government might do to her.
Well, that's on her to me because that's her choice. Nobody's gonna hunt her down and arrest her for anything. I haven't deported anybody recently and don't plan to, and the guys I work with haven't either, and it's kind of like, you know what, we're not going
well, think about this. The whole issue with the border might not be the people, but the economy not working, and for the people on either side of the black line in the desert.
That's a whole different argument. I don't know.
But it's like, I'm right here, you're right here. How do we make this neighborhood better?
Well, I've said before, I give the people of Tucson credit, like 4th Avenue, with all the bars and the clubs along here and things like that. Considering all of that and the people that come in here, there really is very few problems. It's actually pretty good. I mean, they have their moments. Somebody get liquored up and get stupid, but as a whole, a lot of folks can walk down through here at night and feel safe and feel good, and that's pretty cool that we can say that about here.
Well, what about the $5 million that the city used to send law enforcement after the whole Safe Park protest, and where are the homeless now?
I don't know about that. I don't know a thing about that. I can't address that. I don't know about that. Never heard about that. Never heard of it.
No.
No.
$5 million.
I have no clue about that.
Because it went.
When did my pay raises, put it that way? I never.
Well, if we didn't have cops paying prostitutes and cops bulldozing college chicks, and racially profiling the Hispanic and the African American part of the community and harassing the homeless, we probably would give you guys a pay raise. And I think that needs to be part of the discussion.
I'm not even going to address that with you. That's just so far out there, I'm not even going to address it.
How's it far out there?
I'm not going to address that.
Are you saying that there's nobody that wears the same uniform as you that doesn't overstep their power and doesn't misuse their authority?
I would point that overstepping your power starts from the top down. So you can just start lobbing grenades wherever you want to on that one.
Well, isn't that why they're trying to force Villaseñor into retirement?
I'm not talking about him. Higher than that. I don't care what line of work.
Homeland Security?
Higher. I don't care where you go, what career field, what job, wherever you want to go, wherever you want to go. I don't care. People on the street, people on whatever. There are always going to be issues everywhere. And some people are not going to do the right thing. That's everywhere. I don't care where it's at. I don't care who you're talking about. There is bad in everybody. You have your own issues to deal with.
Right.
I know about your past, so you're not perfect either. You made a mistake, but you paid for it. Got it. Okay, you move forward. Nobody's perfect. We have bad people everywhere doing, whatever. So, to me, you're picking on police. That's fine. You can pick on police all you want.
Well,
big boys can handle it, but.
Well, it's like anybody could pick on the police. You guys are an easy target. But the thing is, you guys are just the king's dogs.
Well, somebody has to do it. You want anarchy? Don't you want? You want no police?
No, I want.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine no police? Think for a second. Imagine. This is rhetorical.
I see no police around here all the time.
Yeah, I'm talking about no police. Period. You don't have police out here. None. Just consider that for a second. Carry on, man.
are you saying that you don't think the average person can de-escalate an issue?
What's that?
You don't believe that the average citizen can and de-escalate any most issues that they see out here?
What?
Do you not think that that the average citizen out here can't de-escalate most issues that happen?
I think sometimes it does happen. They don't call us. But it's for those times that they can. Now what happens?
Well, it's like how...
We go back to the old Wild Wild West where we just pull out a gun and we start fisticuffing it and beating the crap out of somebody. How do we do that? How do we fix the problem? Do you have a beef with your neighbor? I mean,
well, first we got to stop talking about whose responsibility it is to fix it and start working together to get it fixed.
Contrary to popular belief, this is not nirvana on earth, and there's no perfect society. It is.
Right, but it's like we could build bathrooms downtown, or we could spend $28,000 to build fences. But the fences aren't going to keep people from pissing or crapping, is it?
It's true. Honestly, I can sit down with you off this darn thing and get rid of all this other crap, just as two guys sitting down over a beer and talking. You and I can converse. We can talk, you know. But the problem with you're always doing this, and it bothers people, man.
Why?
I don't know.
Think about this.
I don't want to be a YouTube moment, man.
Well, it's like, think about this. How many cameras are in the downtown area? But the only thing that freaks people out is when someone they know is holding it.
Carry our own, man. Yeah, well, don't get started on that one. I'm not a...
Well, it's like, you know how much your officers actually turn on and turn off their...
I don't know what they're supposed to do. I don't know.
Right, but is anybody studying how much film is being redacted?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I don't know. I know what our policy is, but I don't know how much actually is downloaded. I don't know how much footage every day is generated. I would assume quite a bit, but I don't know how that's dealt with. I don't know.
Well, it's like from what I've been hearing is a lot of people at City Hall want the next police chief to be a woman.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, all of our last chiefs have gone up through the ranks. They pick someone from the top. Isn't it about time they pick someone that's at the bottom or near the bottom that's been around as long as the police chief to change the culture?
But there are certain qualifications that you have to be police chief, and that's established by the city, and I don't know what there's a thing about the qualifications, but they're pretty stringent. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, education-wise, you know, college degrees, certain schooling, certain places, you know, whatever. But they're pretty. I mean, it's a pretty stiff list of qualifications to do that job. So,
well, it's like,
as it should be. I'm fine with that.
How long have you worked for TPD?
11 years.
So 11 years. How many times have you been offered a promotion?
Well, I won't say I've been ever offered a promotion. Promotion system, for like just me speaking personally, is when you reach a certain level, you can test for it. You can apply to be, and I've just never chosen to do that. So I've met all the criteria to be promoted, like the sergeant or the detective, but I just have chosen not to do that. It's just a conscious, on my part, decision. So that's nobody's not fault, but that's just I don't care to be promoted. That's, you know.
But if you felt there needed to be a change in the department, would you take a promotion to make that happen?
Well, I think it would depend on what that promotion would entail and what that promotion would actually enable me to change. Yes, the higher up you go, the more say you do have in certain things, and I understand that. It's the same with any type of organization, whatever the organization might be. Police, fire, military, city government, county, whatever. The higher up you go in the chain, the more say you would have. The more
So can I be police chief?
I would say that you could if you met the criteria.
What's the criteria?
Honestly, I don't even know. It's one is a master's degree is one of them. I think there's some police schools you've had to have attended. So there are some stipulations what they're looking for. So I don't qualify.
But doesn't the city, if they really want a person, can't they agree not to use some of those rules? Kind of like the rule that if you are police chief, you got to live in the city. So they went ahead and bought a house for Villaseñor so he could meet that requirement. Otherwise, they would have had to create an exemption for that, which means you make the rules, you can change the rules. So if they really wanted to put someone who wasn't one of the top dogs and change the culture, they could change the rules to put you in.
Is that possible to change the rules to yes, but that's not practical, and it's not.
So could we theoretically say that if the city isn't doing that, then they're not interested in having anybody, they don't have trust and they don't want the people who are in the low level of TPD?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily put it that way. What I would say is
theoretically that could be the case.
I'd rather say it like this, is that like any other job, I mean, just because you want it or think you can do it doesn't make you qualified to do it. I'm not qualified to run a business. I don't know business that well. I don't understand. It's not my thing. I don't get that, right?
But you could if you were taught it.
I mean, I'm not stupid, but I would have a lot of growing pains trying to run a business of my own without help and guidance.
So the city's a business?
Well, I think government's a business in general. I don't care if it's federal or state, local. Absolutely a business. Yeah, sure it is. They deal with money all the time. They generate, give it out, generate, and give it out. Well, that's business, right? I mean, theoretical. So I look at governments as businesses, absolutely.
Well, would you say this city government takes care of business?
I've seen a vast improvement recently, downtown especially. A lot of the stuff coming down here. That's been good. Downtown's actually gotten pretty cool. You got some nice restaurants, nice places to go, and that's kind of so.
And are they hiring? The businesses?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if a business isn't hiring, they're probably not doing as well as you're saying.
I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm not looking for a job. So, and quite frankly, I don't. Come out occasionally when I'm off duty.
So, what about you're okay with with them reducing the number of homeless that are downtown?
Reducing the number of homeless?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen a reduction.
Really? Because there used to be over 55 people on that sidewalk. How many is there now?
Well, don't get me started on that one because I like it the way it is right now.
You like it at the sidewalk with no homeless people?
Absolutely.
So where are the homeless people?
I have no idea.
And
you don't sitting in a big damn desert.
So as long as they're not near the businesses you like going to and they're not on the sidewalk right there downtown, you don't care?
I don't mind the homeless where they're at, as long as not behaving themselves, doing the right thing, not breaking the law. They're people too. But at the same time, they're doing the wrong thing.
Well, isn't the law kind of made... doesn't the law kind of work against them? Because it regulates where they can be, where they can go, what...
To me, that's a terrible argument. You know why? Because I can say the law goes against everything, something I might want to do too. Well, the law, I don't like that law because it doesn't go against what I want to do. I want to park my car on that side of the street. The law says I can't. I'm going to do it anyway. We can all say there are certain laws that, man, I wish that law wasn't in place, or I'd do that. You can't pick and choose what law that you want to obey or not obey, or what I want to enforce or not enforce. The laws are there for a reason. If you want to change that law, then you as a person need to use the proper, the proper channels and change the law through legislature and make it change. I mean, hey, there are a lot of laws that frustrate me occasionally. Because I want to drive fast and I can't.
Well,
So,
well, how do you feel about the $3.5 million that TPD seized for the city using civil asset forfeiture last year?
I don't know anything about that. Maybe about my favorite.
What about the $14.3 million they expect to take this budgetary year because of civil asset forfeiture?
I have no idea about that. I have none. Don't know. I have no comment. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Do you know? What do you know about civil asset forfeiture?
Not a darn thing. That's more than one syllable, and that confuses me. So I can't discuss that.
What about 11-36 2B4?
I don't know what the hell it is. I have to look it up. See, you're smarter than I am.
No, I'm not smarter. I just educate myself in a different area than you do.
See, you're not without some merit. Your techniques to come and how you go about things a little bit frustrating from time to time. You're not totally wrong with what you're talking about. There is some merit to what you're saying.
Well, do you think George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin and all those guys do you think they did things a little bit different?
Well, I think considering the time, yeah, I would say so. And there's ideas all through it. So.
What about Abby Hoffman?
Ah, God bless Abby Hoffman.
What about Phil Africa?
Here's the deal. I don't know anything about him. I don't know him. You know what? Here's the deal. If nothing else, those people make people think. Nothing wrong with that. Make people think. There's nothing wrong with change if the change is right and the change is good.
Yeah, but how many people are we going to arrest before we make that change?
Everybody who needs arrested.
What about Abby Hoffman?
Right thing. Hey, did he break the law?
Nobody did almost 4 years in prison.
That's right before your time. You weren't even thought about yet. I was alive when that went on. But you weren't.
Well,
I was raised in the 60s, man.
What about Kelly Thomas?
Huh?
What about Kelly Thomas?
I don't know who that is.
He's from Anaheim. He was a homeless SMI guy in Anaheim who was routinely harassed and picked on by the police, and they eventually beat him to death over 45 minutes in front of a Greyhound station on camera, and none of them have been charged.
I don't know about that. I don't know anything about that. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no comment because I don't know. I can't comment on something I don't know anything about. That would be improper on my part. And don't believe all you read on YouTube either. And the internet. Don't believe all you read.
I don't believe everybody I read, but if it's rational and it's logical and it makes sense.
Well, give me enough time, I can make it rational and believable enough that piece of wood over there can get up and walk away. But that doesn't make it true, you know. So people who are smart.
Well, tell me this: if someone decided that they wanted those wood chips,
The what?
if someone decided they wanted those wood chips and they ended up taking the wood chips, do you think the Tucson Police Department would be able to catch them?
Catch him?
Yeah.
Find the trail of wood chips. Who knows, man? You leave a trail of wood chips where you're going? Uh-oh, they stole some wood chip from the city of Tucson. Holy crap. You got $20, go to Home Depot, buy you a new bag.
Well, it's like I could rob you, but I'll end up going to jail and probably be shot. But I open a bank, I could rob you and your whole police department and not go to jail.
Hey. There are a lot of crooks not in jail. That's a fact. See? Hey, we agree there. But I know. There's a lot of shady stuff goes on.
So what do you think about Oak Flats?
I don't know anything about Oak Flats.
It's a Apache campground and sanctuary up on the Apache lands in Apache County, and there's 2 U.S. senators from Arizona that are currently trying to sell the land to an Australian mining company from underneath the Apache people. And so the Apache people are occupying their own land, camping out there in order to keep the government, to protect it. Now, who from law enforcement in this country is going to go after McCain and John Flake for stealing land from the Native Americans? Especially only for economic gain.
I can't answer your questions. I don't know anything about that situation. If I knew more about it, I could address it, but I don't.
Well, according to Rule 32 of the ARS statute, if someone's talking to you and notifies you of a crime, you're actually supposed to investigate it. So who are you going to notify about the Oak Flat situation with 2 senators misusing their power to steal Native American land from the Apache people?
Probably nobody.
Why? I thought you were law enforcement.
I am. City of Tucson. That's a different county.
So you're not going to notify any other law enforcement agency to investigate it?
If you know about it, I'm sure the other law enforcement agencies know about it. So I'm quite confident that there are people addressing that issue as we speak. So my little self in here in Tucson off 4th Avenue today on August 19th, 2015 is not going to make a big difference in the net.
But your jurisdiction is within McCain's jurisdiction. But if McCain robs a bank here in Tucson, you're not going to arrest him.
Well, that's Tucson. That's different. I have jurisdiction.
So if McCain robs a bank here in Tucson, you're going to arrest him.
He breaks the law. Absolutely.
So if he robs the Apache people in Apache County, then their sheriff should be arresting them, right? Now, who arrests the sheriff if he's not doing his job?
My friend. Throughout history, probably 10,000 examples. Crimes that have been committed by government, kings and queens, and this and that, all across this great world of ours. Crimes have been committed in the name of prosperity and progress and everything else. So, when you start splitting hairs, just keep going. One could argue the entire Black Hills Gold thing back in the 1870s. Same thing. People could argue the train going across the country. Same thing. All the ground it ate up. Everything. People could argue putting a new road through Tucson and have people move and take buildings down is criminal. Where do you stop? It is what it is. And those in power make the deal.
Right, but who from law enforcement investigates them?
Not me, that's for sure. If a crime is committed, it can be investigated.
And your job is to enforce the laws in the city, right? But just not city laws, but state laws.
State, yeah.
So I'm sure robbery is against the law. Unless it's against the Apache people.
Well, again, if you know about that, I'm quite sure.
I'm not law enforcement, though.
No,
I have no authority to.
So if you know about that situation, I'm quite confident somebody else does. So my involvement is not needed.
Really? Because I'm sure the way things got changed is by people working together and more than one person and speaking up and more than one people investigating it. What's your thoughts on the Department of Justice putting the city of Tucson under investigation for the way they've treated the homeless?
I have no idea about that.
No?
I didn't know that.
What's your thoughts on the mayor?
I have no opinion on the mayor.
What about the police chief?
I have no opinion on the police chief.
What about
that?
Sergeant Cochran? Lieutenant McNitt?
I have no opinion. I have no comment. I have nothing to say.
Not even that he's a decent guy or he's a good officer, nothing like that?
Nope.
No opinion?
No opinion. None whatsoever.
That says a lot.
No, I didn't say anything.
It still says a lot.
See, that's what you extrapolate from my non-answer. That's what your thinking is. For all you know, 10 to midnight, have beer every night and get together with families and we're great buddies. You don't know that. So your things, I have no comment about them that I don't
Well,
like.
tell me this. How would you get home after drinking that beer?
A beer?
No,
A beer?
after drinking the beer. Yeah,
A
a beer. Yeah.
A beer?
How are you going to get home?
Oh,
Cab?
no. Good question.
I would think that would be a good, that's something, answer you would already thought of. How do you get home after drinking a beer, going out and having a beer with a
None of your
friend?
business how I get home if I drink a beer.
Well, I live in this city. I thinking it's a, that's...
You worried about me, but you cared about this guy. Well, like you cared about this guy a while ago. Like, oh hell, it's okay. It's not his fault. But now you want me to get you're saying I need me to go to jail because I might have a beer and go driving. Well, this guy a minute ago, you were like, oh, you guys are wrong, man. You guys need help. You know, bullshit. This guy, people.
I'm not saying you should be criminalized. I'm just asking how you're going to get home after having a beer with a
I
friend.
will assure you that I will get home safely without any major issues. Trust me. But I will tell you, I'm not much of a drinker. Never have been. Not my thing.
But if you ever did need help, would you be willing to come to me and let me know so I could help you, or at least contact someone that you do trust?
Absolutely.
And get help?
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. None of us are on an island out here. We all know some people who can help us out in times of need or trouble. Absolutely. And that's good. That's good when we do that.
So you wouldn't say this private property right here isn't an island? Yeah. Do you own property?
I do own property. Well, me and the bank. I guess the bank goes more than I do. Yeah, I do own property. A little bit of it.
Maybe the rocks out in front?
I might own the rocks in my driveway. Yeah, me and the bank share ownership. God bless the banks. Where are you from originally, anyway? Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah, where are you born?
Here.
Tucson?
I was born in Tucson, but I'm from here.
Where were you born?
Ajo.
Oh, okay. Where did you go to high school?
Rincon.
Is that 105th?
Yeah. Same one Paul Cunningham went to.
I didn't know that. We should all get here. It's funny. This time of year, I'm tired of the heat. Ready for the cool to stay in. By March, bring the heat on. I'll be tired of the cool. I want the heat to come back. Well, you must love me. I'm good for a few hours on your video. I always talk to you when I see you, though.
Yeah, I know.
I always do.
But
Here's the deal. A lot of
tell me
officers-
this.
A lot of officers won't talk to you. They don't want to talk to you. But this is like this. I don't care. I'm just me, man. This is what I do. I believe in what I do, but I'm still this me. You know, I'm an old retired military guy. And
But it's like, why would the cops not like talking to me? It's not like I break laws.
I don't know, man. Don't ask me.
I work for a
Everybody has their
living.
own little.
I work for a living. I pay taxes. I don't break any laws. I help people. Why would they not like me?
I don't know. You have I don't know. Okay, you and I've always got along good. Whenever I've seen you, I've always talked to you. You've always talked to me. We've always had kind of mutual respect going on. It's all good. But if you ask about me on the street, you'll find the same thing. I'm that way with most people. It's my personality. I'm a very open, friendly guy. I'm not a butthead. You know. Now I can be a butthead if someone is with me, kind of thing. But I will reciprocate in kind. But I'm a good guy. I care about people.
But you know, you're a representative employee of Tucson. If someone's a butthead to you, under the TPD policy, you're not allowed to be a butthead towards them.
Well, that's when I break TPD policy. I don't take crap like that. I'm too old a dog. You start messing with me, I will mess with you back. I'm sorry. That's just how I'm wired. You know?
Well,
it's just me.
That's how Ferguson started.
Well,
that's how New York started.
Okay, so be it. You know? Here's the deal. It's all about mutual respect. I will respect you as long as you respect me. I will respect you, and you should respect me. We'll get along just fine. Whatever we got to do.
Right.
The moment you change that, and you disrespect me in some way, then I will change my demeanor, and I will be just the opposite. I'm an old school guy. Okay, you're not talking to a 35-year-old or a 30-year-old or a 25-year-old.
So
I'm 56 years old.
Would you say you're more like Andy Griffith, or would you say you're more like Barney Fife?
Oh, Andy Griffith.
Well, you know, Andy Griffith's the one that kept the other guy on the payroll.
Andy Griffith could go crazy if he needed to. He was a guy, you treat him right, he was fine. You try to mess with Andy Griffith? Mm-hmm.
Right, but would you have kept...
Barney was crazy.
Would you have... Do you think Barney Fife had... If you were Andy, would you kept Barney Fife on the payroll?
Oh, God, I don't know, man. That's a good question. That's like asking Mary Ann or Jake.
Because the whole thing is...
I don't know,
Andy's the good cop and Barney's the bad cop. The good cop's keeping the bad cop on the payroll.
I think Barney always had his heart in the right place. Barney was just kind of crazy. He had his own way of doing things. But great show, though. Was it not? Not a great show. Tell me it wasn't a great show. Good show, wasn't it?
I never watched it. I'm too young.
Man, you missed. That's great TV. I'm sorry. I wish they had.
I grew up in the age where they were beating Rodney King.
Well, I wasn't involved in that, so I don't know anything about that. I know what happened, but bad things happen every day, man.
I'm old enough to remember when the wall fell in Germany.
Right? Yeah.
Then my parents changed the channel.
That was very historical. I was over in Germany in the 80s, in the army. Yeah, very, very cool.
So do you feel that part of the reason you're a different cop just isn't because you're old school, but because of your military training?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think I'm a family man, raised kids, you know. Married the same woman forever. Yeah, military background, just how I was raised, you know, absolutely. Life experience, sure. Do I have my faults? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just try and approach every day with people out here on the street with respect, and I have a job to do. And people understand that, I think, for the most part. You know,
They just don't want to be the car in front of yours.
that's true. Some people, look, man, the cop's behind you, get out of his way. He's running your plate every time. No, you know, this job is such a unique job, you know. It just is. You know, there's so many dynamics in this job. I mean, you can go from a hero to a zero like that. You can be a hero one minute and you can be a zero the next, you know. I don't know. It's frustrating occasionally. And sometimes police do dumb things and get us in trouble and makes all kind of look bad. You know, but here's the thing. And I mentioned this before. Every one bad thing that happens with police, there are 1,000 that go unnoticed. And that's the sad thing. And that's not just with police, that's with the world. The only thing that makes news is bad news. How many good things happen in this world every day? Great things, wonderful things happen every day in this world. We all dwell on the negative.
Well,
you do too.
did you hear about that Seattle cop the other day? Look it up all over the news. There's been a Seattle cop. He in a car got stuck somewhere. Something happened, but the cop ended up saving the kid in the car or some shit
Good.
like that.
Good.
But it's been all over the news.
I missed it, but good. You know, I mean, it's just what I'm saying. We always roll on the negative. I mean, you have a history of pushing the negative. If you had the same energy and showed the positive, all the good things, people would view you differently and how you are. People don't.
But I'm not here to fix the good things.
Well, I know, but you tend to dwell on everything negative, which makes you a negative person, and you look at the world in a negative with a negative.
No, I see the world for what it can be, and I point out the places where we can get there.
Okay, and I understand, and I applaud part of that. I got that. But let's for a moment, let's just consider. You keep doing what you're doing because that's what you're going to do. But take a moment every day and view the world for what it is, not for what it can be, what it is. Take a pause every day and just take a few minutes and do that. I know what I'd like for the world to be. You know?
But are you doing anything to get it there?
I'm a police officer. Every day I come out on the street, I try and help people.
But you
I also
do
enforce
know.
the law. Hey, I'm also law enforcement. We have laws that govern our society, that govern what we do and how we do what we do. Somebody has to make sure those laws are enforced. And when those who don't obey those laws and don't conform to societal norms steps out of line, they are held accountable. And when that happens, we need police officers, sheriffs, to take the person into custody and hold them accountable. What the courts do is up to them. That's not my forte. I'm a first responder. I'm on the street dealing with that at this level. We have probable cause to make an arrest, and arrest will be made. What the courts do with that person is between him and the courts. But my point is that that's how I try and make a difference every day. Maybe something I say to somebody is positive and good, and maybe it changes their life a little bit. It makes them alter what they think or feel or do. I mean, I will tell you real quick. I know. I got it. I have had people who I've arrested come back and actually thank me for arresting them. That, you know what, before you arrested me, you saved my life. I quit drinking, I quit doing the drug thing, whatever. So now you should feel good that you actually helped somebody through that. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, you know about it. I hear you. So yeah, you never know. You never know who you touch every day. All right.
Just remember this. 2022, they're saying that 9 out of 10 people in Arizona won't be able to pass a background check.
Well,
Where do we get the taxes from?